They're coming home. 6 years after Megxit, Harry and Meghan, along with their children Archie and Lilibet, are returning to the UK.
What on earth has happened? It's the biggest royal story for years, isn't it? Harry and Meghan are returning to the UK later this month, and their children are going to be enrolling in a British school in September.
Well. Look who has finally come crawling back on their hands and knees. It is 10 o'clock at night in London. And New York, the breaking news wires are practically melting down across Fleet Street. And the greatest Hollywood fairy tale in modern history has just suffered the most humiliating catastrophic collapse imaginable. Exactly 2,416 days after Prince Harry and Meghan Markle staged their theatrical freedom flight, abandoned the British monarchy, and swore to the world that they were going to conquer global entertainment. The grand American dream is officially dead and buried. They are packing their bags, and they are heading back to the United Kingdom. Welcome back to Sussex Unmasked, everybody. If you have had your fill of the endless victimhood, the unvarnished hypocrisy, and the sheer staggering arrogance of the Montecito circus, you are in the right place. Hit that subscribe button right now, ring that notification bell, and make sure your voice is heard in the comments below. This is Sussex Unmasked, where we refuse to swallow the pre-packaged public relations fluff and bring you the raw, unfiltered truth that mainstream media outlets are terrified to touch. Let us lay out the timeline, because the sheer deception behind this sudden move is breathtaking. According to high-level establishment sources, King Charles III was quietly informed in private on Sunday. But the rest of the world, and more importantly, the British public, was kept entirely in the dark until tonight, when synchronised, carefully orchestrated exclusives were dropped into the Daily Telegraph and The Sun at the exact same hour. Think about the sheer, unmitigated brass neck of these two individuals. Meghan Markle spent 6 years telling anyone who would listen that Great Britain was an oppressive, unconsciously biased country that drove her to the brink of despair. She told Oprah Winfrey that the institution silenced her. She told Netflix that the country was inherently hostile, and she privately vowed to her cheerleaders in the media that she would never ever set foot on British soil again. Yet here we are in the year 2026. The second the Hollywood checks dried up, the second the A-list party invitations stopped arriving, and the second the multi-million-dollar American empire crumbled into dust, Madam is suddenly ready to pack her designer luggage, gather the children, and move right back into Prince William's backyard. This is not a triumphant royal homecoming. This is an embarrassing, desperate surrender. Harry and Meghan are broke. They are thoroughly despised across California. Their commercial projects have flopped, and they are scurrying back to the one country they trashed for 6 years because they have nowhere else to go. And as the details of this clandestine relocation begin to leak out tonight, the reality of where they are staying and what they have planned for their children exposes the sheer depth of their calculated strategy. When you examine the exclusive reporting broken by royal editors Victoria Ward and Matt Wilkinson, the immediate detail that jumps off the page is the sheer level of covert planning that went into this move behind closed doors. This was not some spontaneous, emotional decision made over breakfast last weekend. This has been quietly, ruthlessly orchestrated for months under the noses of the British public. The reports confirm that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be relocating to a private, non-royal residence located in the English countryside, with multiple insiders pointing directly toward the picturesque, ultra-exclusive area of the Cotswolds. The Cotswolds, of course, is a familiar playground for Meghan. It is home to Soho farmhouse celebrity estates and wealthy aristocrats. It is far enough from London to maintain a veneer of rural privacy, yet close enough to the capital to mount an aggressive public relations offensive whenever they need to hijack a news cycle. But here is the real bombshell that proves this is not a temporary summer vacation or a quick fly-by-night charity tour. Prince Archie, aged 7, and Princess Lilibet, aged 5, have been formally enrolled to start at a prestigious British prep school this coming September. Let that sink in for a moment. You do not tour exclusive private schools, submit confidential entrance paperwork, purchase school uniforms, and enroll 2 young children in a British academic curriculum if you are merely popping over for tea with Grandad. This is a long-term, multi-year residential relocation. Prince Archie is at the crucial prep school age, while Princess Lilibet is eligible to enter Year 1. For years, royal commentators were told that the children were thriving in their sun-drenched Montecito paradise, living a completely private life, far away from the toxic British press. Now, all of a sudden, they are being thrust straight into the heart of the British independent school system. And what on earth happened to Prince Harry's endless multi-million-pound legal crusade regarding his private security? For 4 solid years, Harry dragged the British Home Office and the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures through the High Court of Justice. He stood in front of television cameras and declared in no uncertain terms that he could never ever bring his wife and children back to the United Kingdom because it was simply too dangerous without automatic round-the-clock taxpayer-funded armed police bodyguards. He claimed that the threat level was insurmountable, that his family was at constant risk, and that the British government was being cruel and unreasonable by denying him police protection. Yet tonight, without a single concession from the British government, without a single armed Scotland Yard officer being assigned to him at public expense, Harry is happily putting his wife and 5-year-old daughter on a flight to London and sending them to a local school. It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that his entire legal war against the government was a complete and utter fabrication. The security issue was never about genuine safety. It was about royal status, inflated ego, and demanding perks that he was no longer entitled to receive. The moment his financial back was against the wall, all those dramatic safety concerns miraculously vanished into thin air. And while the official press release attempts to frame this relocation as a United Family endeavour insider, reports emerging from California reveal that this move was triggered by an explosive domestic civil war inside the walls of their Montecito compound. Let us pull back the curtain and talk about the elephant in the room, that the mainstream royal press is desperately trying to tiptoe around the absolute state of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage. Make no mistake about it. Meghan Markle did not wake up one morning and decide, out of the goodness of her heart, that she wanted to live in the rainy English countryside. Meghan despised living in Britain. She hated the weather, she hated the royal protocols, she hated having to curtsy to senior royals, and she despised being second in command to Catherine the Princess of Wales. For Meghan, being dragged back to the United Kingdom is the ultimate bitter pill of personal and professional humiliation. So why is she on that plane? Because Prince Harry has finally abruptly and aggressively forced her hand. As independent royal commentators and investigative insiders have reported for months, Harry and Meghan have been living largely separate lives in California. The relationship has deteriorated under the crushing weight of financial stress, collapsing commercial deals, and mutual resentment. But Harry found himself trapped in a terrifying legal dilemma. In the United States, particularly in the state of California, family court laws heavily favour the primary resident parent in high-profile custody disputes. Harry knew that if his marriage finally imploded while they were living permanently in Montecito, Meghan's ruthless legal team would file for divorce in Santa Barbara, secure primary custody of Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, and legally bar Harry from taking his children out of the country. Harry would have been stranded in California forever, paying millions in alimony and child support, completely cut off from his royal homeland. And then came the final straw. Credible industry reports revealed that Meghan had quietly begun shopping around a massive post-divorce tell-all memoir to major American publishing houses, laying the groundwork to play the ultimate victim card once again, and blame Harry for all their commercial failures. Harry may not be the sharpest knife in the royal drawer, but even he could see the writing on the wall. He realised he was being systematically set up for the slaughter. So Harry made an executive decision. He informed Meghan that he was returning to the United Kingdom and he was taking his children with him. By enrolling Archie and Lilibet in a British school, establishing their primary legal residence on British soil, and placing them within the protective sphere of the British Crown, Harry has completely shifted the jurisdictional battlefield. Under English law, the children are recognised blood royals, and any future custody proceedings will take place under British jurisdiction, where Meghan holds zero institutional leverage. Harry has effectively checkmated his wife. Meghan had no choice but to pack her bags and follow, because refusing to do so would mean abandoning her children and surrendering her final precious link to royal status. It is a marriage operating on pure survival instincts and mutual suspicion, and the primary catalyst driving this desperate retreat is the catastrophic reality of their complete financial starvation in America. To truly appreciate why this sudden relocation is happening right now, in 2026, you have to look at the cold, brutal wreckage of their Hollywood careers. When Harry and Meghan first arrived in Southern California back in 2020, they genuinely believed they were going to be the absolute toast of Tinseltown. They envisioned themselves running a multi-billion-dollar global empire, rubbing shoulders with Steven Spielberg, receiving standing ovations at the Academy Awards, and sitting on the ultimate billionaire power tables alongside Oprah Winfrey, the Clooneys, and the Obamas. 6 years later, the reality has been an unmitigated disaster. Harry and Meghan are not merely ignored in Hollywood. They are actively mocked and avoided like the plague. They were not invited to the Oscars, they were completely snubbed by the Emmy Awards, and they were firmly locked out of the Met Gala. Think about the message sent by their own wealthy neighbours in Montecito. Commentators on American networks revealed a private text message sent from an ultra-wealthy Montecito resident regarding the news of their departure, which simply read, "And we say bye-bye. The billionaire enclave is breathing an enormous sigh of relief to see them go." The endless security motorcades, the staged paparazzi appearances, and the constant media drama made them an absolute nuisance to genuine high society figures who value privacy above all else. Look at their business portfolio. Their $100 million Netflix deal has dwindled down to virtually nothing after a string of catastrophic documentary flops. Their Spotify podcast was cancelled, with executive Bill Simmons publicly calling them grifters. And Meghan's much-hyped lifestyle brand, as ever, has turned into an embarrassing digital punchline. Meghan claimed she was going to be the next Martha Stewart. Instead, her company has spent months desperately bombarding email subscriber lists with up to 8 promotional messages a month, trying to hawk jars of strawberry jam, dog biscuits, and bizarre wickless candles. The products were mocked across social media, the distribution channels stalled, and the revenue generated was a tiny drop in the ocean compared to their staggering burn rate. They are maintaining an 18,000 square foot chateau in Montecito that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars annually, in property taxes, maintenance, and private security. They purchased a luxury vacation property at the Costa Terra Golf and Ocean Club in Melidus, Portugal. They have astronomical legal fees mounting from Harry's defeated court battles. The simple truth is that Harry and Meghan are broke. The Hollywood well has run completely dry, and when an entitled prince runs out of commercial cash, there is only one place left to turn the classic royal safety net known as PhD, Papa has dough. Harry is scurrying back to King Charles because he needs the private royal checkbook to keep his family afloat. What they failed to anticipate, however, is that while they were plotting their return, the British public was waiting with an icy, unforgiving reception. If Prince Harry and Meghan Markle genuinely believe that the British people are going to line the streets with Union Jacks waving banners and weeping tears of joy at the return of the prodigal prince, they are living in an absolute fantasy world. The immediate public reaction across Great Britain tonight has been one of pure, unadulterated fury and disgust. During live broadcasts discussing the news, instant audience polls revealed that an astonishing 89% of the British public voted a resounding no to the idea of Harry and Meghan returning to live in the United Kingdom. 89%, that is not a divided nation. That is an overwhelming, near unanimous national rejection. Look at what legendary former editor of The Sun, Kelvin Mackenzie, pointed out in his instant reaction to the news. Mackenzie, a man who has had his finger on the pulse of the British working class for 4 decades, stated unequivocally that Meghan Markle faces a massive constant risk of being openly booed, jeered and mocked whenever she dares to show her face in a public British street. And why shouldn't she be? For 6 long years, this couple treated the British public like contemptible collateral damage. Meghan Markle sat on Oprah Winfrey's sofa and implied that the royal family and the British establishment were plagued by racism. Harry and Meghan went on Netflix and insulted the entire country, claiming that millions of patriotic British citizens who voted for Brexit were driven by bigotry and prejudice. Meghan sneered and mocked late Queen Elizabeth II on camera, with that grotesque exaggerated curtsy, while the beloved monarch was in the final painful months of her life. They insulted our heritage, they attacked our institutions, they slandered our national character, and they trashed the royal family for cold hard American cash. Respected columnist Alison Pearson delivered a blistering verdict in the Daily Telegraph, asking the fundamental question that every citizen in Britain is asking tonight. Who on earth wants Harry and Meghan back in the United Kingdom? What happened to Britain, being a ghastly racist country that Madam couldn't stand living in? How dare they expect to crawl back into the bosom of the family they spent years trying to destroy? The British people have long memories. We watched Catherine, the Princess of Wales, endure months of grueling chemotherapy treatments with absolute dignity, grace, and quiet courage, never uttering a single word of self-pity. We watched King Charles carry out his constitutional duties while battling cancer. And now the 2 grifters, who caused them endless stress and emotional torment, want to waltz back into the country and demand our respect. It is an absolute insult to the nation. If Harry and Meghan think they can simply sweep their treachery under the rug, they are going to face a wall of public hostility unlike anything they have ever experienced. And that public outrage is nothing compared to the white-hot fury currently erupting behind the private gates of Adelaide Cottage. Make no mistake about it. To Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, this sudden, uninvited relocation is not a peaceful family reconciliation. It is a direct hostile declaration of war launched right onto their home turf. For the past several years, Prince William has operated with absolute crystal clear strategic resolve. William's long-term plan for dealing with the Sussex problem was the Duke of Windsor model. Just like King Edward VIII and Wallis Simpson were permanently exiled to France after the 1936 abdication crisis, William was determined that Harry and Meghan would live out their days thousands of miles away in California, quietly marginalised, commercially exhausted, and permanently scrubbed from the working apparatus of the crown, so they could never again inflict damage on the monarchy. Now with King Charles in fragile health and the future of the crown hanging in the balance, Harry and Meghan have deliberately bypassed. William dropped a bombshell on the king and planted themselves right in his backyard. The Prince and Princess of Wales are incandescent with rage, and they have every right to be. Catherine spent an entire year battling life-threatening illness, protecting her young children, and slowly building her strength to serve the nation. The very last thing Catherine needs in her life is the toxic, stressful presence of Meghan Markle, lurking 30 miles away in the Cotswolds staging rival charity events, briefing sympathetic journalists and breathing down her neck. Look at what this means for the royal calendar. Royal insiders are already sounding the alarm about what will happen when Christmas arrives at Sandringham. For generations, the traditional royal walk to St. Mary Magdalene Church on Christmas morning has been a sacred symbol of royal unity and continuity. Are we seriously expected to believe that Prince William and Catherine will walk side by side with Harry and Meghan? After everything that was written in Spare, are we supposed to believe? William will allow Harry to smile for the cameras after Harry attacked Catherine's character and mocked his baldness. Senior palace correspondents confirm that William has drawn an absolute immovable line in the sand. If King Charles makes the catastrophic mistake of inviting Harry and Meghan to Sandringham for Christmas, William, Catherine, Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis will flatly refuse to attend. They will pack their bags and spend Christmas morning in Berkshire, with the Middleton family leaving the king to host the Sussex Circus alone. William is not going to play happy families for the cameras. He knows that Harry and Meghan cannot be trusted with a single private word. Every family conversation, every private glance and every interaction would immediately be leaked to the American press or recorded for future commercial leverage. William is locking his doors, freezing them out entirely, and preparing for a prolonged institutional siege. And the primary reason William must remain so unyielding is because his father, King Charles, is walking straight into a dangerous emotional trap. To understand why the royal household has been thrown into such complete chaos tonight, you have to look at the immense heart-wrenching vulnerability of King Charles III. The king is 77 years old. He is currently navigating the most difficult, physically demanding battle of his entire life, undergoing regular medical treatments for cancer, while attempting to fulfill the grueling daily constitutional responsibilities of the British sovereign. Charles loves his son, despite the vicious betrayals, despite the cruel insults hurled at Queen Camilla. Charles is a father, and at his core he is governed by the sentimental belief that blood is blood. Charles desperately longs to spend time with his grandchildren, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, whom he has barely seen in 4 long years. When Harry approached his father with the narrative that he wanted to bring the children home so they could know their grandfather, before it was too late, Charles naturally felt an immense emotional pull. The official palace briefing, released tonight, confirms that the king is naturally pleased for the opportunity to see more of his family on a regular basis in a private capacity. But look at how carefully that statement was drafted. The palace immediately added that the king remains completely clear that the Duke and Duchess will not be returning as working royals and will receive 0 official funding. The king may believe he can manage this situation as a private family matter, but he is being hopelessly naive. Harry and Meghan do not do anything purely in a private capacity. To them, the king's fragile health and emotional desire to see his grandchildren is nothing more than commercial leverage. And look at the ticking clock that Harry is desperately trying to beat the 5-year window. Harry knows that his father's reign will inevitably be limited due to age and illness. Harry also knows that within 5 years, Prince George will turn 18, coming of age as the official direct heir to the throne, taking on official royal duties and pushing Harry even further down the constitutional pecking order into complete irrelevance. Harry knows that the moment Prince William ascends the throne as king, William V, the game is permanently over. William will not hesitate for a single second. William will strip the princely titles, issue new letters, patent evict them from any remaining royal circles, and lock the gates of the monarchy forever. Therefore, these next few years under King Charles represent Harry's absolute final window of opportunity. He is exploiting his father's kindness, exploiting his father's illness, and using his children as human bargaining chips to worm his way back inside the royal perimeter before William takes the crown. It is a ruthless, calculated gamble. And the mechanism Harry plans to use to execute this soft coup is an old dangerous strategy that late Queen Elizabeth firmly rejected years ago. What Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are attempting to pull off with this relocation is nothing less than a royal Trojan horse. They are executing the exact same half-in half-out model that late Queen Elizabeth II explicitly banned during the famous Sandringham Summit back in January 2020. Remember the late Queen's golden rule: you cannot be half in and half out. You cannot monetize your royal titles in the commercial marketplace while simultaneously demanding the status, prestige, and protection of the working British monarchy. You are either fully dedicated to a lifetime of selfless public service, or you are an independent private citizen. There is no middle ground. When Queen Elizabeth said no, Harry and Meghan threw a petulant temper tantrum, famously issuing that arrogant statement, declaring that service is universal. Well, look at what they are doing now. By moving to the Cotswolds, putting their children in British schools, and establishing a permanent residential base outside London, they are effectively building an alternative royal court on British soil. They will maintain their private business deals, their podcast ventures, and their commercial lifestyle branding, while Harry uses his British charity connections to stage quasi-royal public appearances up and down the country. Think about how this will play out in practice. Whenever Prince William and Princess Catherine have a major historic state engagement on the royal calendar, Harry and Meghan will conveniently arrange a surprise charity appearance 30 miles away. They will show up at a children's hospice, invite their favourite photographers from the Daily Telegraph, and ensure that Meghan is photographed crouching down in front of children in a designer coat deliberately mirroring Princess Diana to steal the front pages of the morning newspapers. They will deliberately clash with the official royal diary, create media confusion, and blur the lines between the legitimate constitutional monarchy and their rogue commercial enterprise. Look at what is coming up next July. With the Invictus Games in Birmingham, the British government has committed £26 million of public taxpayer money to underwrite the event. Harry intends to use that tournament as his grand official royal coronation on British soil. He will demand that King Charles stand beside him at the opening ceremony, using the King's presence to officially sanitise his brand and force the British establishment to treat him as a working royal in all but name. They are forcing their way back inside the tent, because they know that from the inside they can inflict 10 times more damage and extract 10 times more leverage than they ever could from California. And to prepare the ground for this subversive takeover, their fanatical media allies have launched an astonishing coordinated psychological warfare campaign across British television. If you want to see the sheer unhinged madness driving the Sussex public relations machine tonight, you only need to look at the astonishing commentary currently broadcasting across mainstream British news networks. On television shows across London, prominent members and apologists of the so-called Sussex Squad have been unleashed to peddle a narrative so completely detached from reality that it borders on institutional treason. Commentators like Nina Miskow appeared on live national television tonight, openly arguing that the British monarchy should completely bypass Prince William and that Prince Harry should be crowned as King Henry IX. Listen to the sheer delusion of that argument. They are actually attempting to convince the British public that Harry possesses the natural charisma and common touch of Princess Diana while painting. Prince William, a man who has dedicated his entire adult life to duty service and institutional discipline, as cold, pompous, and entitled. Think about the grotesque arithmetic required to make that fantasy a reality for Prince Harry to ever sit on the throne. Something catastrophic would have to happen to Prince William, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Yet these unhinged media cheerleaders are openly daydreaming about that scenario on live national television, treating the sacred line of succession like a popularity contest on a reality television show. And look at the second, equally sinister narrative. They are aggressively pushing, they are actively manufacturing malicious rumours about the marriage of the Prince and Princess of Wales. Desperate to deflect attention from the crumbling reality of Harry and Meghan's toxic dynamic in California, Sussex apologists are flooding digital platforms with baseless claims that William and Catherine are struggling, while insisting that Harry and Meghan are the ultimate magical couple, deeply in love. It is a transparent, pathetic smear campaign. Anyone with two eyes and a functioning brain can look at Harry's miserable, stressed, dishevelled appearance over the last 18 months and see a man who is coming apart at the seams. And anyone can look at Prince William and Catherine standing hand in hand through Catherine's cancer recovery and see an unbreakable partnership built on genuine love, mutual respect, and shared duty. The Sussex camp is throwing everything against the wall in a desperate bid to create chaos, sow division within the country, and force the British public to accept their return. They believe that with enough aggressive PR, enough sympathetic media briefings, and enough emotional manipulation. They can rewrite history and erase 6 years of unforgivable betrayal. They are about to learn the hardest lesson of their lives. When the history books look back at the grand chaotic saga of the House of Windsor in the 21st century, this moment in 2026 will be recorded as the ultimate pathetic surrender of two people who thought they were bigger than a 1,000-year-old constitutional institution. 6 years ago, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stood on the world stage and told us they were going to redefine royalty. They told us they were going to build a billion-dollar commercial empire, modernise the Commonwealth, enlighten the planet, and show the British royal family how global influence is really done. They had every advantage handed to them on a silver platter. They had the worldwide fame, the multi-million-dollar corporate contracts, the adoration of the international media, and the freedom to live anywhere on Earth. And what did they actually achieve? They produced a handful of bitter, whiny docuseries attacking their own families. They published a book that turned Harry into a global laughingstock. They lost their corporate deals, alienated. Their celebrity friends burned through their royal inheritance, destroyed their reputations, and turned themselves into the most widely mocked couple in Hollywood history. And now, after 6 years of relentless attacks, after burning every bridge and spitting on every tradition, they are slinking back to the rainy English countryside with their tails firmly tucked between their legs, begging for the protection, the relevance and the money that only the British monarchy can provide. They ran away to conquer the world, and the world laughed them right out of the room. The British monarchy did not have to fire a single shot. The institution simply stood firm, maintained its dignity, supported Prince William and Princess Catherine, and allowed Harry and Meghan's own unchecked greed, arrogance and incompetence to completely destroy them from within. Prince William will never surrender. The Prince of Wales is the iron backbone of the modern crown, and when his time comes, he will protect the throne for Prince George with unwavering resolve. Harry and Meghan may live in the Cotswolds, they may drop their children off at prep school, and they may lurk in the shadows of the royal estate, but they will forever remain on the outside, looking in two disgraced exiles, trapped in a prison of their own making. Thank you so much for joining us for this massive breaking news emergency broadcast on Sussex Unmasked. We want to hear from every single one of you in the community tonight. How do you feel about Harry and Meghan moving back to the United Kingdom? Do you think Prince William should completely lock them out of the royal family forever? Should the British public protest their presence? Drop your thoughts, reactions, and fiery comments down below. Please smash that like button right now to help push this video to royal watchers across the globe. Share this broadcast everywhere on social media. And make sure you are subscribed to Sussex Unmasked with all notifications turned on, so you never miss a single update in this escalating royal civil war. Have a fantastic, restful evening. Stay vigilant, and we will see you all in the very next video.